Well, are you able to see the screen?
No, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
What is that? What is that you are able to see? Students?
సార్ ఇప్పుడు వచ్చింది
ఏమొచ్చిందిరా?
స్క్రీన్ సార్.
స్లైడ్ వచ్చిందా? పవర్ పాయింట్
Yes, sir. Google Meet.
స్లైడ్ లేదు సార్.
పవర్ పాయింట్ స్లైడ్ వచ్చిందా?
సార్
Slide
డెసిషన్ మేకింగ్ ప్రాసెస్ అని వచ్చింది సార్.
వచ్చింది కదా, డెసిషన్ మేకింగ్ ప్రాసెస్.
Yes, sir.
That's good. Very fine. Well, let's start with the class over there then. Good morning, students. Good morning once again. I invite you all for today's session. Today we are going to look directly decision making skills exclusively, right? Well,
Sir?
yeah. Yes, sir.
మాకు ప్రాపర్ యాప్ లేదని వస్తుంది సార్.
అందరికి స్క్రీన్ కనబడట్లేదా?
స్క్రీన్ కాదు సార్, మీరు గ్రూప్ లో పెట్టింది మాకు ఓపెన్ అవ్వలేదు.
అవునా, అది గ్రూప్ లో ఓపెన్ కాదు, అది ల్యాప్టాప్ లో ఓపెన్ అవుతుంది రా తల్లి, సిస్టమ్ లో ఓపెన్
ఓకే
అవుతుంది.
సార్.
Okay, well then let's move with the class. So today I'm going to talk to you. Sorry,
VPS అనే యాప్ ద్వారా ఎక్కుతుంది సార్ మొబైల్ లో.
any queries? ఎక్కుతుందా? ఓకే నాన్న, రైట్. ఏ యాప్ రా?
VPS. WPS, సారీ సార్. WPS.
Okay, right. Students, listen to her. WPS, there is an app called WPS wherein which it helps you to access with the PowerPoint presentation that I have posted you last night. Okay then, well, let us move to the class. Right, today we are going to look at decision making process. Okay, till our last session, last class, we have been through what are life skills and the difference between soft skills, career skills, employability skills. All right. Okay, and communication skills. Right. For today, we are going to look directly the decision making process. Well, so decision making. What are the decision making process steps? This is something that we are going to look for today in clear. All right. So please wait for a while. Actually, the slide have been changed. I hope so. I have presented another slide for you all. For you is quite different. This is not one that I was supposed to present. Okay, now, are you able to see another slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The road not taken. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is it the road not taken?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, now, so decision making. Let's make a move into that directly. Okay, then. Look, decision making skills. What exactly you mean by decision? The other day we have in our classes, as we have been learning, I have clearly mentioned you the difference between choice and decision, right? Choice in the sense we have good number of alternatives, right? We have good number of sources wherein which we are supposed to pick one. That is what we call decision. Well, now let us look at before going through the process of decision making, let us have a clear look at what decision is, right? What is the importance of decision making and whatnot. Look, there was a say that was given by Mark Twain. Mark Twain, he's a good author, right? He says good decisions comes from experience, and experience comes from making bad decisions. Students, try to understand this. Well, try to focus on this. He claims and he clearly says that good decisions comes from experience. Experience comes from making bad decisions. How many among you would like to agree with this statement? He says, good decisions comes from
Yes, sir.
good
I agree,
experience.
sir.
Very fine. Yeah. So
Sir, I
experience comes from making bad decisions. Am I right? Well, it is good that you are answering that you agree. At the same time, let me tell you something, my dear students. When we agree to such a statement, it is very keen that we need to remember when we fail, it doesn't mean that we are stooped down. When we fail, it doesn't mean that we have ended our career over there, right? When we fail, remember our failures, as there is a say it, as there is a proverb which states, failures are stepping stones to success. It is very true, and it's a very precious, keen statement that failures are stepping stones to success. Until we fail in an attempt, we know not how to attempt it in a proper way. All right. So Mark Twain, as an expertise, Mark Twain, out of his experience, he clearly claims that good decisions comes from experience. So experience comes from making bad decisions. Make it very clear. Remember, my dear students, all right, make it a point. Whenever you fail, don't delineate yourself, don't deteriorate yourself, or don't underestimate yourself that I can do nothing when I have failed. Or let me tell you, sometimes you might have experienced this in your classroom. This in the sense, let me tell you, when a teacher asks you to answer a particular question, right? If you fail to answer, sometimes she may say, hey, what is this? That's not a proper answer. To test your, to test your patience, or to test your attitude. If your teacher gives you a rough answer, if your teacher is roughing towards you, let me make it once again. Don't underestimate your skill, my dear students. Don't be delineated, right? Don't think in a negative sense that my teacher has delineated me. My teacher has subdued me in the entire class. All right. Don't feel negative of yourself. Okay. So boost up yourself, strengthen yourself. As I was talking to you the other day, motivation should come from within. All right. You need to motivate yourself. This is what we say. The other day I was talking to you. We need to say, whenever we fall down, whenever we fail in any attempt, let us talk to ourselves. Let us boost ourselves by using a saying called all is well, all is well, all is well. All right, students. So this is to motivate oneself. So let us move further. So remember, good decisions comes from experience. So experience comes from making bad decisions. Okay, before moving to another slide, let me give you one more example to make it very clear. While learning cycling, most of the boys and even girls, you might have an experience of this. When cycling, right, the moment you begin cycling, you don't directly step onto the seat. Am I right? You cycle it in a different
Yes,
way.
sir.
Many a times you have fallen, all right, and you are wounded, and you are wounded even. But let me tell you, have you given up cycling when you are wounded? No, right? You have taken one more opportunity to prove what you are, right? For example, let me tell you, when you are practicing your cycling in a street where you are, let me tell you, a senior citizen or an elder is watching you. While he was watching you, you have fallen for twice or thrice. Then he comes directly to you and he says, hey, what sort of cycling is this? Right? You can't learn your cycling. Just go and give up cycling. If he just accuses you, right? If he just shouts you or screams at you by looking at being wounded, right? It is okay that he has screamed out of love, but would you give up out of his screaming? Would you say that, okay, let me give up. I'm falling many a times, so let me not wound myself, right? Let me not make myself wounded, and let me not make myself, an amputated, or let me not make myself with screaming on so and so. Will you give up? No, right? You will take a chance. You will move to another street, and you will practice cycling over there. When you feel that you are perfect, you will come back to the same old street where you have practiced earlier, and you will practice in the sense you will cycle in front of the same old person who had screamed at you. Am I right? To prove that, look, I have succeeded in my attempt. So this is what you need to think about when you fail at any attempt, my dear students. You are very passionate when you are so young. I know not what happened to you at this age now. Think about yourself once again. Go back to your young age and, try to retrospect yourself. Try to talk to yourself. When you are very young, you have not given up your attempts. Am I right? There were a good number of, instances, examples where you have failed, but you have not given up. So remember that and try to make it very keen. So good decisions comes from experience, my friends. Experience comes from making bad decisions. All right, now, there are certain things that you need to remember while making a decision. So look, the most successful decision maker don't act on impulse. Students, try to understand this. Impulse. What does impulse mean? Instinct. So the most successful decision makers don't act on impulse. Okay, or intuition. Intuition in the sense, naku anipistondi, I feel this. You may make it a sense that intuition and impulse ante emotion anantam oka vidanga. So we don't act on impulses. Abrupt thoughts, we don't act upon that, right? So the most successful decision makers don't act on impulse. Okay, let it be whatever the decision I may take. Okay, let us see. Right? If it is okay, it's okay. If I fail, okay. Don't make it such an attempt. So listen to this very keen. So the most successful decision makers don't act on impulse. Secondly, they don't act on their intuition. Intuition in the sense, I feel so. I feel that I'm going to succeed. Don't try upon your intuition, but rely. That is okay to rely upon your intuition. But before working upon your intuition, before executing your plan according to your intuition, give a prior thought. Next, right? Most successful decision makers don't or even experience alone. This is something they don't act right on impulse, intuition, or even experience alone. Okay, so next, they have a system that they work through step by step. This is what we call process. So decision making is a process, my friend, my dear students. It is not something that is done abruptly. It is not something that is done in a snapshot. Okay, decisions are never made abruptly, my friends. Decisions are made in a process, my dear young men and young women. Okay, so this process or this system is called decision making. Now, what is decision making? Let's see. Perfect decisions are few and far between because life is messy, right? So perfect decisions are few and far between because life is messy. You know that life is all about messy. Many a times we come across, even situations where we are supposed to take our decisions abruptly. Well, but remember carefully, perfect decisions are few. They are far between life, which is messy. Next, a great decision is always possible, however. It is true. Don't underestimate your capability. Don't underestimate your intuition. Don't underestimate your logical ability, or don't underestimate, the expertise that you consult with. Okay, you may consult good number of people who are experienced in their day-to-day living, right? Don't underestimate their experience. Majority of you are fond of Abdul Kalam, right? Wherever he is, whenever he visits a school or a college, he shares his experience. This is something that we know. So his experience is what attracts students to follow. That is what. It is not just out of his intuition he speaks. No, it is out of his experience. So there is a saying which says experience is the best teacher, my dear students. So a great decision is always possible, right? However, great decisions don't all have fairy tale endings. What does fairy tale endings mean? When you are kids, maybe, right? Your grandmother might have, narrated fairy tales. Anaganaga oka roju, oka raju. This is what. So every fairy tale ends with a happy ending. Am I right? But remember, great decisions don't always have fairy tale students.
Yes.
So, but they do achieve the best possible outcome under the circumstances. But remember, though Great decisions don't have fairy tale endings. I don't mean in a negative sense that it sometimes fail. No. That is not my statement, my dear students. What I say is, not all your decisions have fairy tale endings, but remember, they do achieve the best possible outcome under the circumstances. All right. Well, so why do we need to make good decisions? So look, I have given you 2 points. Why? What is the need? Is one, to achieve your goals. Next, to avoid mistakes. Are there anything that you would like to add, my dear students? I have given you 2 points. Look, why do we need to make good decisions? One, I have given you stating that to achieve your goals. Secondly, what I have felt is to avoid mistakes. It is important that we need to make good decisions. What is your idea? Come on, share your opinion, my friend, students.
To have experiences.
To have experience is good. Any more ideas? Any more? Do you agree with my point that I have given you? Come on. Why do we, my question
Yes,
is,
sir.
why do we need to make good decisions? So what I felt is, my intuition said to, and another point is to avoid mistakes. What does your intuition says, my students? Tell me. Are there anything that you would like to add besides this? Why do we need to make good decisions? Tell me, after all, why should we waste our time listening to decision-making skills? What is the importance of making a good decision? Any idea? To learn about important.
It is very important, sir.
Sorry?
Because it is very important, sir. Because
Yeah.
for doing a good thing, we have to take a good decision and good opinion from others, and we have to do our own.
Yeah, Neeraja, very good. Good idea. Sai, any answer? Okay, Venu.
Sir,
Yes, Venu.
sir, we need to take good decisions
Yeah,
because if we take any wrong decisions, we lose our time
good.
because the time is a non-renewable source,
That's good.
for which
Yeah.
we can't go fast
It cannot be retrieved, right?
and we can't correct the things what we.
Yes,
sir.
that's true. So, would you like to agree with my point that is to avoid mistakes? As you said, it is, to save our time. Am I right? So nobody wishes to, as you said, nobody can bring back the time that have passed. Right? Yeah, that's a wonderful point.
Yes, sir.
Venu, any other ideas? One more so that we can move further.
Good decisions make correct paths.
Wonderful idea. Good decisions helps us to have a brighter future, right? A good path. Okay, now let's proceed. So, no one makes the right decision every time. Remember this, my dear students. No one makes the right decision every time. Life is not a movie, after all, right? Remember, because my example is, the reason behind is, most of the students, right, as you are at your prime age, you feel, you estimate your life to be a movie. We know that movie, right, is a fiction. Am I right or not? Movie is not in reality, my friends. Movie is a fiction. So majority of us try to lead our life as if we are a hero in a movie, as if we are a heroine in a movie, as if, our life is as a movie. But remember, movie is mere fiction, right? When coming to movie, the entire life or the entire span of one's career ends up within 1.5 hours or 2 hours. But that is not in reality. We do know that. So no one makes the right decision every time. The reason behind giving you this example is, most of us, we feel, as we are addicted to movies, we come across a hero. Whatever the decision made by a hero will never fail, right? So we incarnate ourselves, in the sense we are we feel that we are a hero and a heroine. So whatever the decision that we make will never end up in a messy way. But remember, no one makes the right decision every time. But by developing your decision making skills, you can increase your success rate. This is true, my dear students. So remember this once again. So no one makes the right decision every time, but by developing your decision making skills, you can increase your success rate. So the need behind good decisions is to achieve your goals, not to kill your time, not to waste your energy, right? Not to waste your precious moments in your life, and to avoid mistakes. Well, qualities of a good decision maker. Before estimating ourselves whether we are a good decision makers or a bad decision makers, right? Let us look. What are the qualities of a good decision maker? There are two qualities that I have presented you. One is intuition and action. I told you very clear. Intuition in the sense, the feel that you have. When you think about possible decision, abruptly, there is a feel within your heart. The feel comes out of your experience, right? So out of your experience, you come across that out of your experience. As a result, right, the decision that you make depends upon this. Look, intuition and action. The ability to know or feel something without using logic or reason. This is one of the best qualities of a good decision maker. Relying upon your intuition and then executing it into action. So the ability to know or feel something without using logic or reason. We may call it a sixth sense or so. Next, analytical skill and knowledge. Analyzing something before executing, my dear students, before putting it in action, right? Before making it into reality. The very important thing that you need to do is, a good decision maker does is analyze what he's going to execute. So analytical skill and knowledge of that. The ability to use logic to examine and measure a problem is very crucial and very important for a person to be addressed as a good decision maker. So one is intuition and action. Second, analytical skill and knowledge. Next, for a good decision making, let me tell you, there are 4 things that you need to do. You need to be honest to yourself. Students, remember carefully. For good decision making, you need to be honest. Secondly, accept the responsibility. Many a times when something was endorsed to you, when a work is assigned to you, are we ready to accept it as a responsibility, or just, okay, it's my duty? Are you accepting it as a duty or a responsibility? Both mean the same, literally, but today the scenario have been changed. That is the reason I'm emphasizing on this. That's the reason I have divided it as duty and responsibility, students. So for a good decision making, one need to be honest to himself and to the peer group, right? And then accept the responsibility. Next, use time wisely. As Venu was pointing out, it is true, time that we have lost can never be retrieved. Time that have passed away, we can't retrieve it back, my dear students. So listen carefully. Don't trust certain statements which says life is like an ice cream, before it melts. We come across some stupid ideas, right? Life is like an ice cream, before it melts. What does it mean? So use time wisely, my students. Next, have confidence upon yourself. These are the 4 important steps that you need to exercise, right? You need to acquire, you need to inculcate, be honest. Secondly, accept a duty as a responsibility whenever assigned to you. Next, use the time wisely. As students, you need to know how to master, how to use time wisely, students. Next, another important trait, principle for a good decision maker is have confidence on yourself. Have self-confidence is very must, my friends. So have confidence. Next, look at bad decision making. Have unrealistic expectations. Unrealistic expectations in the sense, we can call him as a daydreamer. a daydreamer. He is never in his reality. All the time he is in his dreams, my friends, my students. So remember that. A bad decision maker, the qualities of a bad decision maker is he or she is never realistic. They have unrealistic experiences. They build mansions in the air. Galileo medal, we call it as, you know this, right? So have unrealistic expectations. Next, another quality of a bad decision maker is make snap decisions there and then. Let me tell you, sometimes once in a lakh or once in thousands, your decision may be okay, but not all the times, my friends. So make snap decisions is a bad quality, right, of a bad decision maker. Next, take unnecessary action. When there is a need, it's okay if you make an action when it is in need. But making unnecessary actions, acting upon unnecessary issues, you know, another important thing to make it over here is concentrating upon issues which are not at all necessary. This is what? Killing your own time. So taking unnecessary action. Next, fool yourself. This is what? Well, let's move further. Making sound decisions. What helps us to make a sound decision? Right. What are sound decisions, students? What does the term sound decision mean? I know that you know that. Come on. What are sound decisions?
Sir,
Vinith, yeah.
sound decision means అంటే ఎవరైనా చెప్పినప్పుడు డిస్టర్బింగ్ చేశాను అనుకోండి సార్. Once you are disturbing, that is called sound decision, sir. ఇప్పుడు నేను చెప్తున్నప్పుడు అది వినకుండా డిస్టర్బెన్స్ చేశాను అనుకోండి సార్, దాన్ని సౌండ్ డిసిషన్ అంటారు.
All right. Avuna. Well, let us see. Think about once again, my Vinay. Right. Think about it. Right. Any other idea? Venu? Any idea?
Excuse me, sir.
Satya? Yeah? Yes, Venu.
Sir, taking a strong decision.
Wait, Venu. Sorry. Yeah. Somebody was answering. Yes?
Okay.
ఎవరైనా చెప్పినవి మనం డెసిషన్స్ గా తీసుకుంటే సౌండ్ డెసిషన్స్.
ఎవరైనా మనకు చెప్పింది మనం యాక్సెప్ట్ చేస్తే సౌండ్ డెసిషన్. అవునా? Think about once again. Yeah, Venu.
Sir, taking a strong decision, you know, sound.
Very fine. Wonderful answer. Neeraja, any idea? Or Satya?
Sir, I think the decision taken when we are emotional, sir.
Emotional. Okay, right. Let me end up over here. The answer given by Venu is right. So as making a strong decision, a stealthy decision, that is what we call sound decision, students. Right? Decision that is strong, decision that can be executed and that can win the hearts, or that can, you know, give a wonderful result. That is what we call making sound decisions. So let me tell you. Okay, try to understand this. Sound decision doesn't mean, you know, a decision that is being taken while being disturbed by somebody or not. Right. No, not that. Sound decision ante oka perfect time lo perfect result koraku teeskune kachitamaina nirnayanne sound decision antam. Right? A wonderful decision, a strong decision, as Venu was right. It is a strong decision, my friends. So to make a strong or sound decision, you need to take it as a responsibility. So take it as a responsibility. When you take your action, when you take, you know, when you execute your idea with a responsibility, that is what we call, that is a beginning of a sound decision. Let me tell you, what helps to make sound decisions is use the step-by-step approach, 7-step approach. This is what we are going to learn, the process of decision making. Next, take full advantage of this process, and then we need to make decisions. Then those decisions will be addressed as sound decisions. I've given you one thing, look at. Make your own decisions and take charge of your life. Okay, it is good to listen to good number of people, but at the end of the day, it is you who have to decide, my dear students. It is good to go through choices, but The final decision should be of your own. Let your life be on your own decision, but not on the decision taken by somebody else, my dear students, because you are at your right age to think about what to do and what not to do. All right. So let us look at the process. We are into a very important step. We are walking in a path which is very important that helps into our lives. Look at what are the decision-making process steps. Well, what do they teach? This is what we're going to look. I'm going to talk to you 7 steps. Let us walk. Let us step on, right? We have seven steps in front of us that helps us making ourselves a good decision makers. Let us see what they are. 1, identifying the problem. Students, remember, while making a decision, right, we need to think about why should I? Why, what, how, and when. So the very important thing is we take decisions because when there is a problem, right? Unless until there is a problem, we don't go for any decision. Am I right? Unless until there is a question, we don't seek for an answer. So identifying the problem is the first step. Second, gathering relevant information, okay, to take necessary steps to overcome the problem. That is what we call the second. Coming to the third step, brainstorming for solutions. Next, identify possible consequences. We need to identify there are different alternatives, but it is once again to yourself to identify the possible out of those alternatives. Next, step 5, make a choice of your own. Take action. That's the 6th step. Coming to the 7th, after taking action, it is up to us once again to evaluate the outcome. Before taking an action, right, even after taking an action, we need to evaluate the outcome. That is very must. All right, so these are the 7 steps. We have a ladder which has 7 steps. So, right, these 7 steps helps us to reach a peak called, reach a tower named strong or sound decision making skill. All right, a place. It helps us, it helps you individually, a sound decision maker, right? So come on, let us step these ladders one after the other. The very first step in our ladder is identifying the problem. Look, what is that you are trying to figure out? This is very important. Friends, students, let me tell you very clear. In order to make a decision, we need to encounter a problem. Am I right? When does the question of decision arise? Obviously, when there is a problem, when there is a query. Am I right? So, the very important step, the first and foremost step is to identify the problem. What is that you are trying to figure out? For example, let me give you a live example of your own life career. Now you are into your BCom, BBA and BCA, right? With different, there are students who are in BCom General, BCom with computers, right? And logistics, all right? And BBA and BCA, it's okay. But remember, on your course of your study, you might have encountered, you might have come to a point, you know, in the course, in the journey of your first year. At a course of time, you have felt, sorry, I am unable to cope up with my degree. What should I do? Should I give up or should I continue? You may be at a point thinking about to give up, but remember, before giving up, you need to think about why. Why should I? What made me to think that I should give up BBA or I should give up BCA or I should give up BCom and I should go for another? So this is something that you need to do. When there is a problem in front of you, let me clearly talk to you that when there is a problem, never try to hide yourself. Never try to run away from the problem, but stay there and think about why was this problem over here? Did I make any mistake? Or what made this problem to come in front of me? Is it my mistake, or is it something that I need to encounter in the course of my journey in pursuit of success? This is something that you need to think about, my students. So what is that you're trying to figure out? Next, in order to make the best choice possible, you need to know exactly what the problem is. It is true. If you need to move in your way smoother, right, without crusts and toughs, you need to be over there. When the problem is over there, try not to neglect the problem, my friends. There is a saying which says, a stitch in time saves 9. A stitch in time saves 9. Let me tell you in Telugu. మీరు మీ షర్ట్కో అంటే మీరు వేసుకున్న షర్ట్కి ఒక చిన్న చినుగు పడింది, అంటే వెళ్తూ ఉన్నప్పుడు ఒక మేకు తగిలి చినిగింది. దాన్ని అమ్మ కానీ టైలర్ కానీ వెంటనే కుట్టారనుకోండి, ఇట్ విల్ బి ఓకే. లేకపోతే అది అలాగే ఉతికేసింది అనుకో అమ్మ, ఆ చినుగు కాస్త పెద్దదైపోతుంది. సో ద saying says, a stitch in time saves 9. When there is a problem, what I suggest you is, don't try to hide yourself from the problem, or don't try to run away from the problem. Right? Besides running away from the problem, what is that you need to do is, right, make the best choice possible. Think about, you need to know exactly what the problem is, what made the problem to be in front of you. That is very must. Right? Next, once you figure out what the problem is, you can start thinking about ways you can solve the problem you are having. This is what, my friends. For example, let me give you a live example now. If we come across good number of instances these days exclusively, when somebody, as we are in rainy season, right, as somebody is drenched completely in rain, he's back to his home, and it's okay that he had a good bath with warm water, lukewarm water, and everything was done. But the very next day, he started to sneeze. He caught with cough, okay, and a slight fever. The very next instant, the rest of the family members, they are scared that something had happened with this guy. Right? Something in the sense, now we are in a period where a simple fever or a simple cough, right, is taken as a serious problem, a severe problem named corona. Well, so before estimating, or before coming to a conclusion that this is corona or something or this or the other, it is very important, right, to identify the problem. When you go to the doctor, what does he do? If it is with ourselves, we may say that by looking at somebody's cough, by looking at rigorous sneezing, or caught with cough or whatever it is. Majority of us, we are not mere doctors, but we act as if we are doctors. Many times I do know that, my dear students. Right? Majority of you, sometimes you act as if you are doctors, and you come to a conclusion that, hey, you are suffering, it may be corona, or it may be typhoid, or something or the others. But let me tell you, when you go to a doctor, when you approach a doctor, he diagnoses the problem. The important thing that I just want you to understand is, we need to diagnose the problem. Diagnosing the problem is very must, my friends. Unless until it is diagnosed, we cannot come to a conclusion. So diagnosing in the sense, understanding what the problem is. Okay, well, so once you figure out the problem, you can start thinking about ways you can solve, right, the problem you are having. So identify the problem. మొట్టమొదట సమస్య ఏంటో తెలుసుకోవాలి. That is very important, students. Next, in this step, the problem is analyzed. When you think about what is the problem, when you are analyzing that, so in this step, the very first, analyzing the problem, questions you can ask yourself is, what exactly is the problem? When you come to know that, finally you need to ask yourself, what exactly is the problem? Why should this problem be solved? Is it important? There are some problems which are to be neglected, but there are some areas where in which you are supposed to pay, where you are supposed to address the problem, my dear students. So why should this problem be solved? This is something that we need to understand. Is it important? Next, what does this problem affect? In a sense, what does this problem influence? Okay, as I was talking about diagnosing, doctor and diagnosing fever, it is very important. Unless until you go to the doctor, unless until he diagnoses, right, we are not safe at home. Not just the person who is affected with fever, but the rest of the family members who are acquainted with him. Am I right? Who are in close associate with him. So remember, what does this problem affect, influence? This is something that we need to think. Is there a deadline on how much time I have to solve this problem? Yes, these are certain things that you need to look upon, that you need to pay concentration upon. So in this step, the problem is analyzed. Questions you can ask yourself, right? When you analyze your problem, the first thing, these questions that you need to ask my students. All right? Well, next, after identifying the problem, now the second step that you need to do is, we need to gather relevant information. In the sense, we need to go for case study. We need to gather certain information. Where do we get this information? Look at this. Sometimes you might need to get more information to help you come up with possible solutions. Then what should we do? You can find out more about the problem is ask for an advice from a trusted adult. This is how we gather relevant information, students. When there is a problem,
Hello, sir.
you may feel that I am quite capable of, yeah, somebody was talking.
Sir, Shivaprasad screen presenting చేస్తున్నాడు sir.
Oh, right. Just ఎవడు శివప్రసాద్
మీ స్క్రీన్ రావట్లేదు సార్.
ఎవరికి రావట్లేదన్నా? ఎవరికి రావట్లేదు స్క్రీన్?
No, sir.
Shivaprasad, you are presenting something. Give up.
No, sir.
Shivaprasad. ఏదో ప్రజెంట్ చేస్తున్నాడు వాడు. రైట్, ఇప్పుడు వస్తుంది చూడండి నన్ను. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Don't intervene in between. Okay, don't share any of your screens. Listen to this. So gathering information is another important step. So find out more about the problem that you are encountering. Right? Try to talk to good people. Ask their suggestions. That is very important. Ask their advices. Take counseling. So ask for advice from a trusted adult. Get information from books, online, or other people. We have a good amount of sources of gaining information, students. So in order to solve a problem, let me tell you, I don't think whether this is apt or not, let me talk to you. When some problem arises in the life of a student, the very instinct, the very solution at the end that he derives is to commit suicide. ఏదైనా ఒక సమస్య వస్తే సొల్యూషన్ ఏంట్రా అంటే ఆత్మహత్య అనుకుంటారు. No, remember, that is not the solution. There are good number of ways to overcome the problem that you are.
ఏం రావట్లేదు సార్.
అందరికి రావట్లేదురా?
No, sir. వస్తుంది సార్.
వస్తుందా?
వస్తుంది సార్.
Well.
Yes,
sir.
Okay. Well, ask for advice from a trusted adult. Next, get information from books. Think about what's important. Ask from trusted adult ante nee senior gaadu. Let me tell you, majority of us feel that our seniors are, well experienced in our college. So let me ask my senior. No. I'm not talking about your seniors. Even your seniors are still students. You're not that expertise, right? So trusted adult in the sense, it could be your mother. It could be your father. It could be your niece, right? A very best friend of you or whatnot. All right, best friend of you in the sense, right? Elderly. Okay, you need to think about this. So gather relevant information. Well, next, there is something more that we need to think. Think about how you feel about the problem. Once you, Nana?
స్క్రీన్ రావట్లేదు సార్, మీ ఫేసే కనిపిస్తుంది.
అదేంట్రా, అందరికి వస్తుంది కదరా తల్లి.
నాకు రావట్లేదు సార్, మీ ఫేసే కనిపిస్తుంది.
ఇప్పుడు రా. వస్తుంది నానా? ఓకేనా?
ఓకే సార్.
రైట్, కనబడుతుంది కదా స్క్రీన్?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's make a move. So think about how you feel about the problem. It is okay. Before going to gather information, or once you have started gathering information, you need to think about this, students. Think about how you feel about the problem. Next, think about how others feel about the problem. నీకున్న సమస్య నువ్వెలా చూస్తున్నావు, ఇతరులు ఎలా చూస్తున్నారు. This is what you need to think in dual way. Okay, as a coin has face and head, you need to think about this. Think about your problem in your perspective and even in others' perspective. Right? By this, you will figure out what information is needed in order to make your decision. Okay, so this is what we say, the information that is gathered through self-assessment. Next, then you can say that what do I want? What do I need? What are my values? These are the questions that arises before gathering good information. Right? Before talking to an adult, an expertise, in order to gather information, you need to question these three things. What do I want? What do I want in order to overcome the problem? What do I want in order to clear this problem? What do I want as a solution to the problem? Next, what do I need? What are my values? Students, there is a difference between want and need. Hope you know this. Right. Someday or the other, we'll talk about the difference between want and need. There is a wider difference, students. Okay, let's move to the third. Any doubts with regarding these two steps, students? Identifying the problem and next gathering relevant information. Is it okay with you?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
Next, brainstorming.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what does brainstorming mean? Any idea? What does this brainstorming mean, students? You know this. Quite, you have been doing this, I do know. Any idea? Students, what does brainstorming mean? No idea?
No, sir.
Hope you have an idea. Somebody, I'll let you know what it is. Any other idea? Any other? Satya? Venu? Sai?
I don't know, sir.
Okay, Sai Kumar? Any idea?
I
What?
don't know, sir.
That's
No, sir.
this brainstorming. ఎప్పుడు ఈ పదం వినలేదా?
Maybe no, sir.
Okay, brainstorming in the sense sitting for a while and thinking different possibilities. Yeah, thinking briefly, Trinayani. Okay, thinking about solving the problem. That is what? Different arena, different ways of solving a problem. Thinking in different ways. As I was talking to you with regard to the second point, gathering information, right? We need to think about right, look at the problem in your perspective and look at the problem in others' perspective. In the same way, brainstorming in the sense, we need to come out with different thinking in different perspective to overcome, to solve the problem. రకరకాల విధాలైన ఆలోచనలు చేయడమే బ్రెయిన్ స్ట్రామింగ్ అని అంటాం. ఇఫ్ ఐ డూ దిస్, ఓకే, ఇఫ్ ఐ డూ దాట్, ఇఫ్ ఐ వాక్ ఇన్ దిస్ పాత్, okay, if I go back, or if I let me say I will go further a few yards and then I will make a decision whether to go further or not, and then I will come back and I will take another road, or if not I will go back to the place where I have started and then I will decide. So this is what, brainstorming in the sense we come out with n number of ideas, n number of plans to overcome or to get rid of the problem that we have in front of us, to find a solution to the problem that is existing in front of us. That is what we call brainstorming. Let us look. Sometimes when we are caught up in the beat of the moment, we believe that there is only one way to solve the problem. This is a chaotic state, my dear students. జరగకూడదు మన ఇంట్లో ఎవరికైనా జరిగితే abruptly this is what happens. We are not at all, our mind is stuck over there. We have no idea what to do or what not to do, right? That is what it says. Sometimes when you are caught up in the beat of the moment, we believe that there is only one way to solve the problems. Look at the picture that I have given you over there. There are around 5 doors, 5 options. That is what we call. This is what we say brainstorm in the sense there are 5 ideas, 5 ways to overcome the problem, or 5 ways to clear, to find a solution to this problem. So that is what we say brainstorm. Look at the second point. However, there are usually multiple solutions to the same problem. For example, let me tell you, to enter into KBN college, there are multiple ways. Am I right? One can come from Chittinagar, one can come from one town area, right? One can come from Brahmana Vidhi, one can come from behind, in the sense PSCMR college, right? There are good number of ways. As there are good number of ways to enter into one college, there are good number of solutions for a single problem. This can be possible only when we, brainstorm, when we think. That is what, students. So give yourself some time to think about some possible ways you can handle the situation. This is what I was talking to you. Don't come with a snapshot decision. Don't be instinctive. We are in a days of instinct, right? Everything has to happen instantly. Instant coffee, instant dosa, instant ideas. Let me tell you, instant ideas never cope up. You have come across, good institutes which say learn English in 30 days, not 40 days. This is what we call instant, but that doesn't do, my dear students. Give yourself some time to think. This is important. Time. Give yourself, sit to yourself before coming out with a possible solution, right? Give yourself some time to think about some possible ways you can handle the situation. Next, try to come up at least with 3 possible solutions to choose from. If you are let me tell you, a good student, or the difference between an average student and a good student is, a good student is he who studies for once or twice or thrice, and just he jots down, he writes what he has studied, and then he makes another note, and finally a fair note. You have done it in twice. If you are asked to make an answer of your own, the very first attempt, again you will make a second attempt in the sense, okay, the first you have prepared a notes, and secondly, once again you will go through the notes and you will add something to the other second copy. Finally, you will make it a fair copy with a perfect amount of information. Am I right? That is what, students. So try to come up at least with 3 possible solutions to choose from. So initially, you might think that coming out with multiple solutions makes no sense. Anukochu meeru. Urukon sir, oka solution saripoda? Why 3 or 4 solutions? Let me tell you, that is very important, students. Initially, you might think that coming up with multiple solutions make no sense. But however, doing this allows you to think about the problem from different angles. So this is something that is very important. Okay. So the very first thing is identifying a problem. Next, gathering information is important. And the third, brainstorming, in the sense, looking for different solutions is very must. Next, the fourth, we'll look at this and we'll end up for today. Identify possible consequences. Consequences in the sense, pros and cons. When we come, in the third step, we have come out with couple of decisions. Sorry, couple of choices, or let us say couple of solutions. But we have not executed, right? Before executing, before putting it into practice, this is something that we need to do. Each decision you make will have pros and cons. In the sense, each decision that you make has right end and evil end, bad and worst, good and bad. Okay, now it's up to you to look at the positives and negatives of each possible solution you come up with. Whatever the decision that you take, you need to think about whether this is okay or should I alter? Whether can I put this into action, or should I wait, or should I think upon this? Should I work more upon this problem? This is something that you need to work out at the very beginning of executing a problem, my students. All right. Once you have identified the problem, it is good that you have gathered ample amount of information. Finally, the third step, it is good that you have come out with good amount of solutions, good number of solutions. But coming out with good number of solutions can't help you to execute. But once again, you need to sit back and you need to identify possible consequences within that. It is up to you to look at the positives and negatives of each possible solution you come up. Unless until you do that, you can't be, your decision cannot bring you fruitful result. Okay, next, this will help you to decide which solution might work best for you. So sitting behind and thinking over rather than taking a hurry-burry decisions, a hasty decisions. Okay, sitting serenely. This happens only when you respond to the problem in due time. ఇది ఎప్పుడు జరుగుతుందంటే నీ సమస్యకు నువ్వు కరెక్ట్గా స్పందించినప్పుడే, అండ్ నాట్ అట్ ద 11th hour. ఎగ్జామ్ రేపంటే నైట్ కూర్చొని చదవడం కాదు. నాట్ దాట్ స్టూడెంట్స్. If there is a problem, if you have come to know that there is a problem a week ago, it is not that sitting today and thinking about what should I do about the problem. No. Before you are supposed to encounter the problem, right, you need to think about the possibility. This will help you to decide which solution might work best for you. So as they go through this process, as you keep on going through this process, certain options will feel better than other. This is what, you know, after attempting a question in your examination, once you step out the exam theater, you will come out with a brighter answer once again for the same old question, and you will think, if I have given one more opportunity now, I will answer it in a wonderful manner. Am I right or not? Sometimes, many times, you might have felt so, my dear students. So this is very important for us to understand. Next, we will prioritize the different options and list them in order based on the solution you believe will best solve the problem. As we have come out with 3 to 4 solutions, right? As we have come out with 3 to 4 solutions, all right. Finally, we will prioritize the different options and list them in order based on the solution you believe will best solve the problem. Okay, so these are the 4 steps that we have seen today. Students, before concluding the class, if you have any queries, you can ask me. Any doubts with regard to the 4 steps that we have learned? Any slide once again you would like to re-insist? Students? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Ma, is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
Well, so you have understood. Okay, before concluding, can somebody please re-revise what are the 4 steps that we have talked about? Can somebody please? Think about what are the 4 steps that we have seen.
Question to analyze.
Yes, Satya.
So question to analyze is the first one, sir.
Good. So analyzing the problem.
Second one, sir.
Yeah. Identifying the problem is the first one.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Second one is gather relevant information, sir.
Very fine.
Brainstorm solutions is the third one, sir.
Yes. To find out solutions. Okay. Different ways finding out solution. Next.
And fourth one is identify possible consequences, sir.
Identifying possible consequences. Very good. Right. Thank you very much. Thank you, students. Have a happy day. See you all.
Thank you, sir.
Bye. We'll meet on Monday once again, right? Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.